everybody. So lately I've been getting a lot of questions about picture book writing and how to publish a book. So I thought it would be nice to have this video to look back to and to just direct people to it if they're interested. So I'm going to be focusing on picture book writing and traditionally published books. So the first thing that you want to do is really do your research. So I thought, honestly, I thought picture book writing would be so easy. And I was naive, but it's really hard to do. So you want to really focus on perfecting your craft. And how do you do that? So you can take classes. There are some free sources like Kidlit 411. They have a bunch of videos and a bunch of great resources on there on Facebook, Kidlit 411, and also they have a great website. So you want to do that. There's also Highlights Foundation is a very great source. They offer classes, and there's also Writing Barn, and there is also SCBWI. Some people like it, some people do not for various reasons. So, and also check your local library and check out some books on picture book writing because there's a lot to go into picture book writing. Even though it's only like 600 or 700 words, that's why it's so difficult because you have to fit so much in so little words. So I wrote The Arabic Quilt. I just want to show you guys how it looks like. So now what do you do when you write your book? You're gonna think it's amazing because that's what I thought at first. And it was a rude awakening when I just got so many rejections from agents, and I will go over agents in a little bit. So what you want to do is you're gonna think your manuscript is amazing, but most likely it's not, especially if you're brand new to this. So what you want to do is get critique partners. So find a critique partner. You can look at your local library, check out Kidlit 411, search on Twitter, search your writing groups, see if anybody wants to read your book. There's also editors who read your book for a fee, and of course edit it and give you reviews and ideas. I will try to link below a website or a link with editors. I think Kidlit 411 has that. So that's also a great thing to do if you want to. It's not necessary to get a paid editor. Some people do, some people don't. So it's all up to you. Um, the next step is, so you really think your book is great, it's polished, you got your critique partners to look at it, they said it's a go. I recommend just leaving it maybe for like a week or so and then going back to read it. And then you want to have 3 picture books ready. Ready for what? Ready for submission to query literary agents. And what is a literary agent? A literary agent is a professional in the writing world, in the publishing world. Hey, Halima. And that person will represent you in your career. Do you pay a literary agent? Absolutely not. If a literary agent claims that you need to pay him something, run. So what happens is the literary agents, they get a portion of your sales, of your advance and of your royalties, and it's about 15%. So, and getting a literary agent is it's really difficult. I'm not gonna lie. It's super, super difficult. It's even harder than just publishing a book without an agent, which you can do because some publishing houses, they accept submissions from authors without a literary agent. So my publisher is called Tilbury House, and they do accept submissions if you don't have a literary agent. Other publishers, so my other book is called The Night Before I Eat, and it's coming out in 23 by Little Brown and Christy Ottaviano Books. So they require an agent. So a lot of the publishers, especially like the big 5 publishing houses, they require an agent to submit your book to them. So I highly recommend a literary agent. Most authors do. They absolutely recommend it. So what you want to do is search online. You go query tracker. Just even type in like literary agents and see what they're looking for on Twitter. Search MSWL hashtag, which is manuscript wish list, and you see what agents are looking for. So some agents really want books about a holiday. Some agents will want books about back to school, etc. So you can sit there and just I recommend that you make a spreadsheet with a list of literary agents, what they're looking for. Make sure you check out what they want in the submission, um, all of that. So most literary agents that represent picture books, they look for if you have 3 picture books that are ready to go on submission. So the hard part is the querying. So you're gonna query the picture books. Oh, thank you, honey. So you're gonna query these agents, and you are going to check their guidelines and query. So you're gonna be getting a lot of rejections. I got so many rejections when I was querying agents. At some point, you might want to just step back and edit your books even more. If you feel like you're just getting so many rejections with feedback, which is a great thing. I will never forget the feedback that I got from one agent who really took time to just give me feedback on my picture book, and I will always appreciate that, although it was a rejection. But she did tell me, hey, like, your picture book is way too long. um, you need to cut it down. And it was long. I think it was like about 1,000 words. And picture books nowadays are around like 700 average, a little bit more, maybe less. So yeah, so you're gonna be getting rejections, and it's okay. Keep on going, keep on going, keep on going. So after that, maybe an agent is interested in your book. So what's going to happen is they're going to, some agents will tell you, oh, would you be interested in changing like this and that? Maybe do some changes. I know my agent, Brent Taylor of Triada US, who is an amazing agent. Before he offered representation, he asked me to change some things, and he asked me to cut the words. Again, it was still way too long, so I had to cut that and change some other things. So when I did that, he said, hey, can we talk? When is a good time to call you? And that is the call. So when you get that from a literary agent, that means it's a really good thing, most likely. So yeah, he offered representation, which is great. And then what happens after that, the agent will maybe polish up the manuscript a little bit more. And then what happens is he's going to be sending it out on submission. So he will be sending it out to publishing houses. There's so many out there. And every agent is different. I know some agents will send to 20 publishing houses. Some will send only to like 5. So in batches. And guess what? Sometimes even if you have literary agents and even if your book is good, your book might still not get a publishing contract or a deal. So that's happened to us. A couple of years ago, after the Arabic quilt, we had a book that was on submission, and it got some really good feedback, but it was just a tough market. And it's okay, it happens. And now we are also currently on submission. So it's a long, publishing is super long. It's hard. It's good to have some support system. It's a good thing to have other writers who understand. So it's always also good now. So if you're on submission, what happens? So yeah, so if a publishing house is interested in your book, that is awesome. So he'll probably tell your agent, we want to take this book to acquisitions meeting, and if they're interested, they go, and there are more meetings, and what they want to, how much are they going to buy the book for, and all of that stuff. And sometimes an editor will be interested in your book, but it doesn't pass the acquisitions meeting, which is really disappointing. And then after that, what happens if it does pass the acquisitions meeting? That's it. You get a contract. You get a contract, and again, the agent gets a portion of your sales. And I always get this question a lot. What about the illustrator? So in the traditional publishing world, the publisher will find the illustrator. So my publisher found an amazing illustrator, and her name is Anaï, and she's awesome. And they mostly do the communicating with the illustrator. And also, you can leave notes on your manuscript for the illustrator if there's something really important that the illustrator must do. Otherwise, it's a good thing to just leave it to the illustrator, because that's an art in itself, and it's just, they do their research and whatnot. But if there's something that must be in the book, then that's totally fine. I know with my first book, The Arabic Cult, I think I did leave some illustrator notes, but with The Night Before, I really don't think I left that many illustrator notes. I honestly don't remember, maybe just like one or two. And she's also an amazing illustrator. Her name is Rashin. And I saw sketches recently, and it looks really nice. So what happens after that? That's it, I guess. That's it. That's just the first step. So this is, so you have your contract, you sign it, the agent will negotiate a deal, because we want the best deal. So what happens is the publishing house will acquire your book, and so they give you an advance. So advances can be anywhere from $1,000 for picture books to $15,000, $20,000, but it's kind of rare. I want to say, like, from what I've read online, from what I've talked with author friends, I think the average is like 4,000 to 10,000 in advanced, which means they'll give you that portion over maybe over a couple of years. So one when you sign the contract, one when you submit your manuscript, your final manuscript to the editor, and then one when it's published. But you also get royalties, but you have to earn out your advance first. So for example, say your advance was $5,000, and then when your book is published, you need to make $5,000 in sales first, and then you can start earning more royalties, if that makes sense. Plus your agent gets 15% of sales. It's a little bit confusing, but once you're in the industry, you kind of understand more. And again, that's why it's really good to have a literary agent, because he explains a lot of things to you that you might not know, and look over your contract. And he doesn't just negotiate the advance. There's other things that they negotiate as well. I think that's really like just a summary of how to enter the traditional publishing world. If you guys have any questions, just leave it below here. I'm just going to have this video on Instagram, so it's just always going to be here if you guys want to look back. I know a lot of authors, they offer like writing advice, which is great. Self-published authors, there are also some really good ones. Also, if you're interested in self-publishing, that's totally awesome. And it's really hard. Honestly, I think self-publishing is super hard, because you have to take care of finding an illustrator and designing and all of that. So if you're a self-published author, that's amazing. I just personally, I wanted to go to the traditional publishing route, because I wanted the Arabic Quilt just to be more out there, because I wanted obviously kids like who are Muslim or who are Arab or immigrants to see their book more widely in like libraries and whatnot. Although self-published authors, absolutely, you can find their books in libraries. It's just, I think it's just more, it's easier to find it if you're traditionally published in the libraries. So I'll also link some of my favorite self-published authors below. Also, if you check out my stories, I have some of my favorite picture books there. So just check that out if you want recommendations on some of my favorite books. I also have done book reviews. Oh, I forgot to mention something really important. In order to write a picture book, you need to read a lot of picture books. So when I was in the process of writing the Arabic quilt, I would just go to the library and spend hours there and look at picture books that have been published within like the past like 2 to 3 years. Um, and check it out, check out their style, read it. It's just so important. I always recommend that to people. Also ask the librarian, hey, like what books are kids loving nowadays, and check it out. If you're writing a book about something specific, then check those out because those are called comps. So comp titles, and you're going to want to write that in your manuscript when you're submitting it to agents. So for example, if you're writing a book like on immigrants, so your comps would be the Arabic quilt, and another book also is called Little Seeds of Promise by Sana, and it's coming out I think next month. So maybe I would have those two as comps, and it's just good to read books that are similar to that. And just get ideas from it. Obviously, you're not copying the book, but you're just getting an idea. It's like the writing style, the characters, just why are kids liking this book? Um, those are always it's so important. I cannot stress this enough. Even when I'm writing, not even just for debut authors, but even if I'm writing like a new manuscript, I go and look and read books that are about the same topic. So, the night before Eid book that I wrote, a mentor text. I had a couple of mentor texts, and one of that was, oh man, what did I have? Well, I was reading Fry Bread and Bilal Cooks Dal. That was one of also a couple of mentor texts that I had. So I think those two were in there, and Amy Wu and The Perfect Bow also. So it's always really important. And I just also got this book, guys. I'll just share it because it's right in front of me. It's so beautiful. Where Three Oceans Meet. This would actually be a really good comp title about just like intergenerational families, and it's such a great book by Rajani, the Rajani, and we share the same literary agent, which is really cool. I think that is about all that I have. If you guys have any questions, please just write it below. Sometimes I'll just get like a lot of questions, and it's really hard to answer them in my messages, but I really do try my best to do so. I don't offer critique services. So again, I will link, or I will write it down below for editorial services. I think that's it. So yeah, if you want to write picture books, that's awesome. Especially we need more Muslim authors. I can't stress that enough. More BIPOC authors, more Arab authors. There's not many Arab authors out there. I'm lonely here, guys. So there's only really a couple of picture book authors out there. But there are so many books coming out, I think in 2022 and 2023 by Arab authors and or Muslim authors, which I'm really excited about. I think me and Reem both have a picture book coming out in 2023, and Sadia Faruqi has a picture book coming out in 2023. I know there's so many. There's a bunch of us on Kidlit in Color. We have a bunch of books coming out in 2023, so check those out. And I think that is all. If you guys have any questions, write them down below. Have a wonderful day.